11:16 at the time of this recording. I'm gonna try to make this video nice, short, and quick. That way we can get on with our night. Tomorrow we do want to address something real quick here. We do have OPEX, and I'm gonna explain here what it is and how you can get prepared for it. So OPEX is basically it's a third Friday when standard equity index options expire. The end of money auto exercises and the out of money contracts expire worthless. It's a single biggest positioning reset of the month, right? So the volume runs about 30 to 50% hotter than a normal day. You have quarterly triple witching, which is March, June, September, December, which can also double it. That's not that. And basically how that affects 0 DTE contracts is right now, right, you have basically half to 2/3 of all the options SPX volume here. We have concentrated gamma, and it moves very fast here. We have also the AM settlement here in the morning. SPX settles off Friday's opening print. The number can gap from Thursday's close. OPEX week, right, Monday through the third Friday, in a nutshell, is the daily gamma peaks all week, then mashes at the bell. And here's some implied moves here that you can take a look at here real quick. Maybe take a screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and put this here in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hop on in to see us live trade here like we do every day. And basically explain some gamma here as well. I'm going to get later to that into the video, but I'm going to go over what happened here today. We had our fourth consecutive down day here. An indicator that I made here for free for some of the students here and just people in the Discord that are interested in trading is previous opening close here. So one of the easiest concepts you can use here in the market is just kind of marking your previous opens and previous closes in addition to also your current opens. So tomorrow, right, you'd have your level to where you closed at yesterday. Okay, that's a resistance right here. Okay. So right here, right, if you obviously have your opening bell here, go ahead and mark your chart. If you go all the way down here to like the 1 minute time frame, we'll go ahead and do that here in a second. And just have those levels marked off here. Ah, it looks messy already. Okay. Right, so where did you close at? Where did you open up at? Very important for you to mark those levels here. Sometimes people will buy calls all day long, right, trying to average down when like you never came back and surpassed the opening bar right here at open, right? If you couldn't pass the opening bar, why would you go long? You have to wait for structure and different things to kind of line up to really get a good entry and or position, okay? Coming over here to the NASDAQ, we formed with a Doji here. What can also happen, what also tends to happen on OPEX is you have a Doji here. What does CHOP look like here? So one quick thing here is we still have 55 EMA institutional support. We do have our point of control right here. And here's your put wall down here tomorrow, 700 all the way down to 694. That's your flush zone right here. You would have to break that flush zone right about that 700 call wall if you were to draw your fibs here from a daily perspective. But if you want to identify CHOP and what that looks like here, just drop it down to maybe like a 15-minute time frame. I'm going to go ahead and clear out this chart here real quick here. So from Thursday, right, at 8:30 to the end of close here, right, you chopped here. When you have a chart that looks like this, which is what can happen tomorrow, sometimes it tends to happen, right, you end up with dojis. A doji looks like this, right? It's a 50-50 candle, or it's a candle that looks basically very thin with some price action in here, right? What does that look like? Go here to the daily time frame. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the chart here. It ends up looking like this. So you can identify CHOP real quick, and again, that's why it's important to have those opening bars marked, the previous closed bars marked, and also right where you currently opened up at the current day. Going over here to the NASDAQ here on the 4-hour time frame here, just taking another look here. It does look like we have a possible reversal here. We have a bullish engulfing candle here. Maybe we're going to come all the way back up here on the 4-hour time frame, maybe test that 55 EMA, which is going to be a rejection point. Notice how that's funny how we're right in the same exact spot here as we were, notice how we're in the same exact spot here for that previous open, right, where that 55 EMA is. Going over here to crude oil, remember that we talked about this in the last video here. So one of the easiest concepts I like to talk about, right, is so sometimes, right, you have triple bottoms here. Okay, but the more you come down here, the more likely you are to break. That's why people say, oh, that was support, we kept bouncing. No, but also the inverse of that is, right, you keep hitting resistance, you keep hitting resistance, then you break out, right? And usually within that breakout, you have a flag of some sort, which you can see kind of right here, you have a flag. And that's one of the trades that we took here today in the Discord. We had a flag that broke out here. So you have your cup and handle. You also have an inverse head and shoulders. You had a flag, right? You broke down, ripped up here. You had another flag, broke down, you ripped up here. And again, this is something that's very concerning. Really, it's more of like a macro event here. So again, right, nothing is contributing to lower oil prices. We have no peace deal. The only thing you need to take away from this video was there's no peace deal, and as long as there's no peace deal, right, we're going to have continuation of volatility and possible more depletion of oil reserves here. Going here to a shorter time frame here in SPY, I think it's important to just look at multiple time frames here. Really nothing that kind of that's really noteworthy that I want to get involved with here at the moment, that I'm really thinking like, wow. And the problem sometimes that you have in the market is, right, one of my buddies, his name is Dustin, he's in the Discord, he's an analyst. Go ahead and follow his plays. Something obviously that we say is financial advice, but we talk about how, right, what they do half the time, probably what they might do even to open tomorrow, is right, you always see you know, the market, right, they have large moves overnight to where, you know, maybe you're hitting that previous open, maybe you're above that previous close here, to where, right, if you're drawing your levels and your fibs, you don't really have a good entry zone here, right? Because maybe, you know, the implied move for the entire day, or maybe the implied move off your level here was, you know, up here, but, you know, by market open, maybe you're up here. So just cleaning off the chart here real quick, trying to go through my time frames. What I see here on the daily time frame for SPY, just a bearish engulfing candle, just a clear, like, very bearish, nothing sexy, nothing good looking about that. And again, you undercut here. One of the simple concepts I like to tell people is, right, you have an undercut or retest. Let me see if I can find that here on a shorter time frame. Let me go to the 23 hours here to see if there's anything else. Again, notice how we have no gaps right here on the chart. And kind of going over here while this chart loads, how to kind of trade, you know, OPEX. You know, trade the structure, not your opinion. Mark the walls before the open, which you have marked right here, right? And positive gamma, you fade extensions back towards the pin, sell the wall, buy the floor. And one of the key tools that I like to use here is he's doing an update on his website. Shout out to VoltTick.io. His name is Knots on X. Go ahead and like, share, follow. I also have a discount code HBT to get discount code as well. I do stream this here every day. But again, right here, right, how you can get your gamma walls and figure out kind of where spot, negative, positive gamma, and flip zones are by getting a repeatable terminal that you can use here to kind of identify those things. But anyways, right, a negative gamma, you have to respect breaks. A level that fails becomes a target. Don't average against it. Expect a low range ground to the pin. And right, look for volume expansion after Friday's expiration. Right, you want to make sure that you're sizing down to the close. The last 30 minutes is where near the money strikes whip. If there's no edge, which is like chop, you don't want to fight the pin without a catalyst. If there's no setup, don't trade, guys. And again, we talked about how you can spot chop here like this, look at that, right? So you have chop here. Let's go ahead and go back to that chart here in QQQ. Go to the 15-minute here. How can you spot chop here? This is chop, right, where you literally go nowhere. Go nowhere, go nowhere, go nowhere. Maybe looking like a breakout here, but then, right, you collapse here. So again, right, previous open, previous close here. You want to make sure that you're above your previous close here for sure. And you want to make sure that you hold above your previous open, right? If you're going to try to grab calls here, right, if you're not above your previous open, that means literally you're under your previous open. And obviously, if you have your opening bell, right, candles here, why would you go long, right, if you're not, you know, if there's no structure, right, to support it? Gamma doesn't support it either. Neither, right, does all those other macro, fundamental, and technical things. Let's see here. Hopefully everybody had a good day. And again, what I'm looking here is we have a possible morning star here, but again, when I'm looking at a morning star candle here, I want to see a strong breakout here. Obviously, we have a lot of indecision here, at least on the indices. We don't have that in crypto. I want a strong engulfing candle here. Right here, this looks like a rising 3 here. Again, you can obviously come all the way back up here. Again, maybe get a catalyst overnight, maybe get a catalyst over the morning, maybe just gap up here because market makers decide to show up like they did yesterday here, right? So in order for me to really feel comfortable going long here, I want to combine all those different things here, especially going to a dangerous day like OPEX tomorrow. And I want to see a strong engulfing candle here before open. But I also know what, right? Even if you have this pre-market high up here, which again, that's also something you should mark here, but I'm trying to simplify the concepts, you might just retrace here. Okay, so what would happen, right, on your next candle sequence here, right? Maybe you have your candle up here that's a bullish engulfing candle right here. Maybe you have a retracement down here, right? What does that do? Create like a flag of liquidity of some sort. It can look like a bullish pennant. It can look like a whole bunch of other things here. But the point is, I want to remain above half of this candle here, right? If you have a bullish engulfing candle and to open, and then break out from there. Otherwise, what's going to happen here? That candle's going to do what? Break down. And these are very, very easy, guys, to spot here in real time. Going over here, already talked about that chart. Really nothing happening here from the 30-year perspective. In fact, I think we're still up here. So whatever Scott Besson was trying to do with the buybacks here, trying to suppress rate hikes and all the other stuff that we talked about in other videos, I mean, not working here so far. So still ticking up here. If, you know, anything's going to get better for the market here, you typically want to see bonds go down here, right? Because this is more of a safe haven in a nutshell for people. Why am I going to get involved in risky stocks here, right? When what? bonds are going up here. I could just make safe, easy money without being stressed, sleeping with one eye open overnight. Going back over here to the Russell, again, same concept here. Mark your previous opening, mark your previous close here, and trade the chart in front of you into OPEX tomorrow, right? Your levels to the upside here that you need to get back above tomorrow are 300. That is your resistance. That is also your put while you flush. Your next flush zone is right here, right? If you break that candle at 297, I'm looking for puts to the downside all the way back down here to 292, and 290 is your lower value area low. Going over to gold here, I'm so happy about a gold chain. About a couple this past month here. I feel like I got the bottom tick here, and you're getting basically a bid here on gold. We talked about that in the last video. So a lot of my videos, guys, just try to make sure like, share, subscribe. You know, all my videos do connect to each other. So when you see gold ripping up here, you know, all these commodities, all these different indices, right? We talk about the reasons of the why, and all the reason why right now we're ripping up here. We can talk about the technical perspective and obviously the fundamental use case, but right, people hoarding assets now. Now you have a macro event, okay? Besson talking about doing the buybacks yesterday. Now we have our macro, now we have our why. That's also why Bitcoin's going up, which we also covered yesterday in the video. SPY chart here again, we have SNDK here. One other point before I end the video, guys, hopefully everybody had a good day, is that, again, you're chopping, right? I expect a big movement here from Sandus tomorrow, right? Your average range for every day for the past, you know, I think month or so has been about like 9 to 10% here. So again, just kind of understanding that range here is going to help you make informed decisions here. If you're having about a 9 to 11% move every day, mark your levels. What's 9% above or like 10% above? 1765 here, and what's 10% below where the price is at? 1446 here, right? Use a bit of your you know, technicals here. Where's the 55 here? Obviously we're in a 2-hour time frame here. You're kind of right hugging it right here. So if you can't get above that, right, you're marking your opening, you're marking your low here. You have structure to kind of, excuse me, trade it. Now you have your clues, you have your answer, and that's the best possible case for any trader here in the market. Making sure that what? Your levels are marked here. That's gonna help us do what? Pick the correct strikes, right? Because we might pick a 2000 strike tomorrow, right? And, you know, of course, right, the chart's going up here. We're like, wow, why are contracts not moving here? The further you are out the money, the less the contract moves because of delta. And we can talk about delta here. We're going to do Saturday deep dive here. Make sure to stay tuned up for that video. I'm going to go into options, really how to trade. I'm going to get really, really technical here over the weekend of, you know, what can you do to prepare as a trader? Because a lot of people are having a difficult time here. You know, the market is a very nasty place to be in right now. And you have just a bunch of winners and losers. And I think, yeah, what does it come down to, guys? You know, which side are you going to be on? There's basically 97% of the market every day that's losing, you know? And, you know, I think at this point, it really is a choice. Going over here to the SOXO here again, we did lose our 55 AMA resistance here. You do have a Doji here that looks like it's formed here. Maybe not a Doji, but again, what's the principle here? Opening high, opening previous close here. And obviously we lost our 55 EMA institutional support. We did obviously see a sell-off here in tech and a rotation to different stocks here. So money did not leave the market, they're just rotating, right? So again, one thing that's going to be on my radar tomorrow is all of chips here, right? Are chips going to go down or up, right? More likely than not here, right? You see SanDisk going up here, right? You're going to see Micron and some other strong leaders here. So tech is going to be on my radar tomorrow. What stocks can we get involved with? And again, the biggest thing is going to be having our levels marked at open, knowing what's happening. Maybe you have some data, maybe you have some news, maybe there's a headline here tomorrow. Be alert, be prepared, have great risk management, trade structure, learn it, learn how to identify. We need to close the laptop here. The best piece of advice, which is not financial advice, just my opinion, is if you don't see trade, guys, you don't see setup, close the laptop. The market's gonna be open tomorrow. See ya. Have a good rest of your night. Halapo now.